acknowledge the traditional owners of Kings Canyon, the Luritja people, and recognise their continuing connection to the land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. So far today we've been travelling a couple of hours out of Alice Springs and we've landed in a place called Eraldunda, which what's so significant about this place is that it is the absolute dead centre of Australia. And this monument behind me, I'll show you a bit better, commemorates that it's the dead centre of Australia. And the closer we get to the centre of Australia, well, we are in the centre, the flies are getting worse and worse. They weren't this bad in Alice Springs. And there just happens to be an emu farm right here as well. So we've been travelling for about 5 hours now in a southwesterly direction still haven't gotten to Kings Canyon yet, but we've just stopped here at this place for a bit of a break. And one thing that strikes me about here is the beautiful red soil and the desert oaks, similar to that one behind me. A very unique tree for this area. Beautiful. After 6 hours of travelling from Alice Springs, we finally made it to Kings Canyon, and this is our starting point, that structure behind me. So the walks are open and we're doing the 3 to 4 hour loop, Kings Canyon walk. Can't wait. So one of the worst things about being here in Central Australia is the flies. And I wish I had one of those hats with the corks hanging down to get rid of it, but I think I'm gonna have to succumb to a fly net over my face because they're just relentless. Airguard or fly spray or whatever does do nothing. It actually attracts them, I reckon, because it's just they're just so relentless. So it looks like this is how I'm going to hike, but I can lift it up and talk like that too, so it's not all bad. But if it keeps the flies away, it's worth it. Everyone's doing it. Kings Canyon, and these white flowers are called mulla mullas. They're quite pretty, actually.
It's a native tomato, or bush tomato. And each flower will develop into
A little fruit.
small fruit like those
Like this one.
cocktail
Yes,
tomatoes.
that one there.
Yeah. So it's still green, but they will go red eventually.
Okay.
Now the
Bush tucker, we can survive.
no,
Yeah, we can live up
be
here.
careful. The tricky bit is there are more than 20 different species of native tomato, and some of them are edible and some are highly poisonous, and they all look very look alike. So if you're not really an expert, don't touch it.
We need this.
So the red is actually red sand blown in from the desert and it's attached. Especially when it gets wet, it reacts like a sponge. It's very soft,
Can we touch it?
and
Oh, June.
you can.
Good thing to see.
Yeah. What makes it so strong then? I mean, if it's so soft, why is it so strong?
It isn't strong.
Yes,
Oh.
No.
Come on, David,
Okay.
we're going to have
Every
It's all holding itself up.
every thunderstorm and heavy rain will
potato together.
will make
Oh, it is very spongy.
some parts crumble down. Remember, on the way in, I've told you that all this here was sea floor, and then after the water receded, it was uplifted. You can see here the ripple effect. So it's fossilized sea floor. A beach at low tide looks the same.
It does.
So we're about 3/4 of the way through our walk, our hike up Kings Canyon, up and down these amazing rocks, and the views are absolutely to die for. But just an interesting thing behind me there, I actually thought it was man-made, but our guide said that it's Mother Nature. They just look layered, those rocks. So interesting. So we've got another 1 kilometre or so before our walk's finished, and our hike, this beautiful hike, and it's starting to rain, which is a welcome relief. did it. What an awesome hike it was. Bit over 3 hours and a couple of litres of water, but it was amazing. And pretty thankful I got the fly net over my face, because the flies are just, like I said, relentless. But Kings Canyon, what an awesome walk. Thanks.